Hey, hi, and welcome back. So in this video, we are going to start with the layout of 7-segment display section, and along with that, we will also complete the layout of motor driver section. Alright, so now let's start with this video. So now let's go to the 7-segment display part and let's do the connections here. So again, the connections are very straightforward here. So let's do the connections quickly. And again, the current which is actually going to flow through this section, it's going to be in milliampere. We have already discussed that when we discussed the 7-segment display section. So 10 mil track width is actually more than enough for this particular part. So straight away we can lay the track with a thickness of 10 mil. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing. So you can actually, you can do the connection in much better way. Now that I'm creating the video, so that's why I'm actually doing it quickly. All right. Now after that, again, we will do the same thing here. We will connect these pins directly to these resistors. So you can spend much time here to do the connections here. And I'm just going to connect them quickly. All right, like this. So like this, you can do the connection. So this is actually the ground one. In order to get rid of this track, you can actually press escape. Okay. So remember that. So here it will be connected directly. Then this will be connected here directly. And this is going to be, this will be connected like this. Okay. So we are done with all the connections. I have not connected them properly. I mean, from look point of view, rest of the things are actually okay. Even with this connection or this type of connection, the design is going to work. No problem. Okay. And after that, now let's connect these tracks. All right. So let's connect these tracks now. So I already know how exactly I have to do the connections because I have created this layout even before, and layout is actually in front of me. So I'm quickly going to do the connection, but you can spend you can actually spend little time here, and you can make the wise decision how the track should be connected. Okay, and you just make sure that there is a lot of there is enough spacing between the two tracks. Okay, so I'm going to quickly connect these tracks now. And I will connect it like this here towards this pin. And then let's connect this one from here as it is going towards this pin. So let me connect like this here. And then this one will be straight. This is actually the straight connection. So this one will be later. You can see here. Now there is actually no spacing. So what we will do here, we will go to the bottom layer. All right. So I will go to the bottom layer and I will place the wire here, and later I will connect this track directly to this particular pin. All right. And then this pad is on top layer. So but the connection, there is actually no path here. You can go like this, you can come like this. So but that's basically very complicated connection. Okay. So what you can do straight away, you can actually go to the bottom layer and you can do the connection. So I will go to the bottom layer, but if I go to the bottom layer here, this particular track is actually coming in between. So what I will do here, I'm just going to move this track. Okay. So I will just move this track like this, and I will place this wire. I will also move this wire and I will place it here. And you just make sure that there is enough spacing between this wire and this track. All right. This wire is going to be on both the layers. We have already discussed this. And let me move this wire here like this. And we are going to pass this track from the bottom layer like this. And then we will do the connection like this. All right. And again, I will arrange this track properly, or I can move this track wire like this. And I can move this wire like this. Then, all right. So the connection is nice now. All right. And so we are done with the 7-segment display part. We are done with the layout of 7-segment display. And now we are left with the this section. Okay, a debug/program section. Or let's complete the motor driver section, and later we will do the connection of debug/program section. All right. So first of all, let's go to the schematic and let's see how exactly the connections are. So I will go to the schematic and let's check how exactly the connections are. So this is motor 1 enable pin, and this pin is actually going towards this pin. And so what we will do, we will go through each and every pin. So this pin is actually connected from here like this. So again here you have to make the wise decision. So this is basically the first pin. So you can route the track for this particular pin first, or it's not like you should route the track for this pin also. This pin first. You can also route the tracks for these pins, but depending on the track of this particular pin, you are actually going to make the decision where another track will be laid. Okay. So now if you see here, there is actually no space to connect this particular track. So I will have to go like this, okay, to connect this one. But instead of that, what I can do, I can connect this particular track in much better way. I can go like this towards this pin. Okay. So I'm just going to connect like this. So these are actually, single-ended signal and low speed signal. So we don't need to bother about, while doing the connections much, we just have to take care of, spacing between the tracks. All right. And after that, this pin. So I will select this one. So this is actually connected here. All right. So let's do the connection. This is actually the straightforward connection. So I will directly connect this like this here. And then this one is connected to this pin. So again, this is basically a straightforward connection. Then the next connection is actually going towards this pin. So there is no path here. You can actually go like this, but that will be too much complicated track. Instead of that, we can actually go to the bottom layer here. So let's go to the bottom layer and let's do the connection. A better connection here. Like this, we can do the connection, and I will connect like this. And once you are done with the connection, later you can move that particular, particular track, and you can adjust the spacing. Okay. So I will adjust the spacing here. All right. So from here, the track is coming like this. It's going to the bottom layer, and then we have connected that track here. All right. And now let's go towards the another pin. You always have to check, what this is, which pin is this one. So it's not like you do the direct connection. So this is actually the motor to enable pin, because we have to take the decision how much current is going to flow through a particular pin. So we know that these pins are all only the control signal pins, okay, which are actually the control pins for this particular IC. So even if you select the a track width of 10 mil, that is actually more than enough for these pins, because very less current is going to flow through these pins. It's going to be less than 10 milliampere. So even if we route these pins with a thickness of 10 mil, it's completely fine. Alright, so we are done with the connections of all the control pins. Now let's do the connection of the connectors. So let's connect the connectors to the motor driver IC. And we know that the motors that we are going to connect to this motor driver IC, they are actually not going to drain current more than 100 milliampere. Okay, we have already discussed that when we did the power budget calculation. So the maximum current which is going to flow through this loop, okay, through this loop like this here the motor will be connected. So the current will go like this, then through the motor, then it will come like this. Okay, and we discussed that the maximum current both the motors are actually going to drain, it's going to be less than 100 milliampere. So even if we use a track width of 10 mil here, that will work. Okay, without any problem, it's going to work. But in our case, we are actually using some different motor which consumes less current. But in future, let's say that if we have to connect a motor which is going to drain 400 milliamperes of current, we discussed that this particular IC can provide 400 milliamperes of current through a single channel. Okay, so if we connect a motor who is going to drain 400 milliamperes of current, then in that case, the track width of 10 mil will not be sufficient, right? So you will have to increase the track width. Okay, so you have to consider all the aspects in your mind while designing the system. So if we connect a motor who is going to drain 400 milliamperes of current, then in that case we will have to go for a higher track width. So what I will do, I will use the same track width here. Let's go for the 50 mil track width for this connection from the motor driver IC towards this connector. So 50 mil track width is going to pass a lot of current, okay? So let's go for the 50 mil, but it's not like you should go for 50 mil only. You can also go for 25 mil. So again, you can do the calculation. You can check what will be the required trace width for 400 milliamperes of current. We already did that. It's basically 10 mil, but I'm not going to select 10 mil because if we connected a motor who is going to drain even more current, okay, then that particular track should be capable of passing that current, okay? So let's select, or let's go for a higher track width of 25 mil, or you can also go for 50 mil. So let's go for the 50 mil. Let's connect, or let's use this particular track or this much width. You can see 50 mil track is going to look like this on the PCB, okay? So here on this side it's not visible, but 50 mil track is going to look like this. All right, so this is actually much more or more than enough for our application. So let's go for a 50 mil track. So I will just enter here 50 and let's do the connection now quickly. So this connection is actually on the top layer, and later I will connect this track like this towards here. Now we are left with this track. So let's lay this track from the bottom layer. So I will go to the bottom layer, and later I will do the connection like this. Okay, so if you see here, if I try to lay a track of 50 mil here, then there is a problem. We are unable to pass this much track width, through the pins of this IC. So what I will do, I will change the track width here. So again, you have to click on move, go to the properties, and let's change the track width to 25 here and apply. Okay, so this is how basically a track width of 25 is going to look like, and this much is actually more than enough, as we have already discussed. 30 mil track width, 25 mil track width is going to pass a lot of current. You can do the calculation. So I will just select here 25 mil. All right. So it's not like you can use any track width. You have to, do the theoretical calculation, or you have to do the calculation, and then only you have to select the appropriate track width. You make sure you can go for the higher track width, but don't use a track width with lower size. Okay. So I will select 30 here, apply and OK. Right click, properties, then 30 and apply and OK. Now what I will do, I will go to the route air wire, and I'm going to change the track width to 30 here, 30 mil, and let's route this track now like this. All right, and let's connect it here this way, and then this one will be connected like this, and let's connect it here like this, and I will just make space here. All right, okay, so there is actually enough space here and also here. All right, so we are done with the motor driver connection. Now we are just left with this 12 volt part. Okay, so power will come directly from the adapter or external power source like this. So we can do the connection directly towards this pin. So let me do the connection now. So I'm just going to use a simple track, Control Z, and I will just lay a track here with a size of 30 mil. Okay, like this. All right, so we are done with the motor driver section. Now we are just left with these capacitors. So you can actually directly take the power from this point, and you can do the connection like this towards this capacitor, and then towards this IC. And you have to make sure that this track actually should go from these capacitor. Okay, so for example, let's say if you connected this track directly here, and then you did the connection from that track towards the capacitor, then it's not going to work or work that much effectively. Okay, so you have to pass the track through the capacitor, and then it should go towards this IC, because if there is a noise on this line, it will be first bypassed by these capacitor. Then after bypassing the noise, the pure DC will reach towards this IC. All right, so that's basically the reason. Alright, so we are done with the layout of 7-segment display section and also the motor driver section. And in next video, we will start with the layout of programmer/debug header section, and also we will complete some connections between the microcontroller and 7 segment display driver IC section. Okay, so I will see you in the next video now.